Hey, if you want to see me get drug up on stage and get embarrassed, watch till the end of this video. I think you're going to like it. My son called us up a month ago and said that he was taking spring break in Colorado because we lived in Colorado the last 10 years of our military career. And so he has a bunch of friends in Colorado. And so him and his girlfriend were coming up here for vacation, and they asked us if we wanted to come along, and we said, why not? So we bought a plane ticket. When we got to Colorado Springs, we loaded up the Jeeps, me and my friends, and my son and his girlfriend, and we went up to Eagle Rock. It was just a little tiny four-wheeling trail, and had a good time. Everybody, it was a little cold, a little windy, because we were probably 9,000 feet at that altitude, and the wind was it was gusting, so it was a little chilly. So on day 2, we loaded up the car and we drove out to Buena Vista. And Buena Vista, if we didn't move to Alaska, we were probably going to move to Buena Vista. It's just a beautiful country. And you're surrounded by 14,000 foot mountains, and it is gorgeous. So there was a little hot springs up there called Princeton Hot Springs. We got a little cabin there, and we had a really good time. The cabin was beautiful. We'd stayed there before. The hot springs were great. Saw a lot of wildlife there. It was chilly there as well. I'd say 32 degrees, that were the highs, and I was videotaping one day in the morning, the sunrise, and it was 15 degrees. So we also went to a little ghost town called St. Elmos. We've been to it before. There's a couple of other abandoned gold mines around the area, but due to snow and us not having, we rented a car, so we're not having a big Jeep, we were unable to go see the mines, but the town itself was really cool. Day 3, we went horseback riding and had a great, it was the Mount Princeton stables, I believe. Those guys were, they were really great and helped us out with everything we needed. And, you know, it was wintertime, so they didn't even have a ride going, so they called up a wrangler. He came back to where the stables and gave us a ride. And then that night, we soaked in the hot tub, and then called it a day because we were pretty beat after that. And then day 4, we went to Denver. Went to the Science Museum in Denver. That was the kids, they wanted to go there, so we went there. They had a mummy exhibit, dinosaur exhibit, and it was actually pretty cool. So we had a good time doing that. After driving from Buena Vista to Denver and then spending a few hours at the museum, and living in Colorado Springs, I knew that around 3:30, 4 o'clock, there's already mad traffic in Denver. So we decided to stop by Casa Bonita. And if you've never seen the South Park episode of Casa Bonita, it's kind of funny. There is strong language, but still funny.
Excuse me, can I just eat some of your... Yeah, thank you. Oh, awesome! That was cool, huh?
So we went there. The food is not excellent, but the environment and the entertainment's pretty good. Then we drove back to Colorado Springs, and we went hiking. And there's a little place right outside of Woodland Park called the Red Rocks, and it's really cool because it's just like a forest, but right in the middle of the forest is this rock formation that's, I don't know, 50 feet tall. So you can climb on top of these rocks. I always called it like an adult jungle gym. So it's got all these little passages you can weave in and out of and climb. And then when we were done with the Red Rocks, we were driving back to Colorado Springs and we stopped by the Cave of the Winds, got a little guided tour there, and had a good time. I mean, anytime you're with family and checking out some stalactites and stalagmites, you're gonna have a good time. The next day we went to Old Colorado City and did a little walking around, checking out all the stores, and then we went to Manitou Springs and did some shopping, ate some food there. The place that you can see from Colorado Springs, but you gotta have to drive to it, but it's not in the way. I mean, it's kind of surrounded by Colorado Springs, is the Garden of the Gods. It's just a rock formation that's, I don't know how high it is, but it's real thin rocks. I put a little drone footage in here because it's really neat to go check out. When I was in the Army, every once in a while we go there and we do PT running around the Garden of the Gods. So cool. It's a cool little place to check out. In Manitou Springs, there's a place called the Iron Springs Chateau. So it's a melodrama theater, and it's just kind of like an old country western style plays that they put on. It's really neat. It's a small stage, a small little gathering. You eat dinner prior and then go upstairs and watch the play. And then we met a bunch of our friends that lived in our neighborhood. Some of our friends we've known, oh my gosh, since the early 2000s because we were stationed in Germany together. And yeah, we had a great time, and that pretty much summed up our trip. And then the next day we went our separate ways. My son went back to college and we're here at Denver, getting ready to get on a plane tomorrow, headed back to Alaska. So if you got any questions about Colorado Springs, just leave them in the comments below. We lived here for 10 years. We did a lot of hiking and exploring here, and we loved it, but we had to move, and so that's how we ended up in Alaska. But we know a little bit about the area, so if you got any questions, just leave us a comment. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, we'll be doing more Alaska videos next week. So hit the subscribe button. We love having you around, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. And a big hello, and it was great seeing you to all of our friends in Colorado. It's been a few years since we've seen you, and it was just like old times. I mean, we just took off right where we left off, so we had a great time. Why can't I get this right, Mama?